Well, Mr. DeRoy, let's try that one more time. Welcome into Deathpiles and Taxes. We're getting back in the groove of things. We got to make sure we still remember how to do this, huh, buddy?
Take two. We just put down a pretty good episode there that the computer, for whatever reason, decided, not so fast.
It's just like Derek in 7th grade. The dog ate his homework again. So we're back, talking a little, making some money online. It's tax time. We didn't really talk about that much, but taxes are right around the corner. I hope you've been keeping track of all that money you've been spending. I can see a pile of cash over there on that table, DeRoy.
I told you once, I've told you a few times now that my QuickBooks has been logged into, and that's about it. So you're going to earn your money come here a few months with my taxes. But I'm trying to think of everything we talked about because there's a few points I wanted to make. And
we were talking about, just getting really back into the game, like I said, how people can adjust or should be adjusting, like I said, post-COVID, re-COVID, I don't know, we would call it 3.0, 4.0. Inflation, discretionary income's down, how are people, making that side hustle cash so they can afford to buy the things they need to buy, DeRoy?
Yeah, and what they're doing. I do need to remember to shout out Bill again because I had a very nice, eloquently stated thing about these cards that Bill gave, dropped off here, and how we hadn't recorded in so long. I was just getting them to thank him, and we talked about, the reseller group and all that kind of a thing, and I'm not going to be able to recreate that. So, Bill, I appreciate it. Thanks for the cards. I just got them, and you're a good man.
$100 bill. He's kind of like that Dos Equis guy. He is the most interesting man in the world.
That's the good thing about getting in here, and you meet other resellers and stuff. You meet some pretty interesting people doing some interesting things that you never even thought about. Not just in the reselling world, but in personal life and what people just do. It's fun to get to know people sometimes.
I mean, it is. It's a community, and some people like to keep things close to the vest, which I totally understand that. If you're selling products that are, very generalized that other people are selling, you don't want to necessarily let them know your secret sauce, but, the items that Derek and I are selling are very specialized. I mean, Derek's selling wrestling cards where, him and what was Zane and, what's his name? David. What's his name? What's the big guy's name? Your buddy.
Dave Peck.
Yeah, there you go.
The guy, Rob England, we've had on the show. There's a few.
These guys, they're selling.
Mike Painter.
Mike, they have these, one-of-a-kind, very, very limited wrestling cards. So, he would have a problem going into dabbles and details, and neither do I, just because, there aren't a lot out there. So the more things you can get out there. So that is the nice thing about, this community is it's pretty tight-knit. And, we totally enjoyed hanging out at our eBay group up in Salt Lake. And that's been few and far between, but that's where you met $100 Bill.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you get out and meet other resellers, they learn what you sell. Bill had a binder full of cards that were wrestling cards that he wasn't going to do anything with. So I guess he came down here to pay the man and talk to Adam and said, here, give these to Derek. So
Little Elf Bill.
He gave you some pretty nice cards.
Yeah.
You never know. That's the thing. If you get to find in a place where you have like reseller meetups and that kind of thing, it'd be worth going. Even if you only go once or twice a year, just network, meet people, and they find out what you do. You find out what they do. You're the yard sale. You see something and say, hey, this might be something Bill's into. And Bill's the yard sale and says, hey, Derek would like this. And you can maybe do a swap seats or something. I don't know. But there's just opportunities out there. Right now the market is a little tighter, but that's usually a good thing for the reselling market. People are looking to save some money. So if you can find that niche to sell stuff to people looking to save a buck and you make a buck, it's a double win, as we call it.
Yeah, like I said, there's always the, so-called, example shows. I mean, the big one is American Pickers. There's just a lot of things, and there's no way for you to know everything about everything. I mean, it's just nearly impossible. You can have a general idea when you see these, vintage type items or, just things. I mean, like I said, T-shirts, the retrofits, the quote unquote younger generation. They're getting into styles and type of things. Derek and I have, kind of ventured down that.
The old Zoomers.
Yeah, the Zoomers. That's what it is. That's what they call them. Ventured down the ticket items. It's funny, when we say tickets, we're talking about, admission tickets to different sporting events, concert events. Derek and I were at a football game this last weekend, and, they say, hey, show your ticket stub. Somebody kicked a 25-yard football, and Derek's going in to get his hair, that was singular, cut. And
singular nowadays.
He needed the stub, so I just texted it over to him. So it's going to be weird because I would say within probably the next 5 to 7 years, any kind of hard print tickets are going to really be obsolete. So you're getting into an era that is ending. That we're really learning ourselves a lot about. Derek got teased last night, huh? The old teaser on a ticket.
Teaser. Actually, I just sold the Marshawn Lynch 2012 Topps White card. So
ooh.
There you go. It went to PSA 10. Somebody just bought it for $45.
Hey, there you go.
Right when we say cards aren't doing that great, I just made $45 off of a card of a guy that played it a few years back. You remember old Beast Mode?
Oh yeah. Did I tell you the story about Beast Mode? Can I share you that story?
I don't think you shared it with the audience.
Well,
I know. The
story, so Marshawn Lynch, he was a really big running back in Seattle, and anyways, he's from the California area, and my brother, this is quite a few years ago, he had an office space in Oakland, and kind of in this urban industrial type area. And it's like a big open office space, and sure and behold, right next to my brother's office space was Marshawn Lynch. And when I say office space, it's not like the glass buildings like Derek works in every single day. It's basically an open area that you could drive a forklift through. So right next to Mr. Marshawn Lynch.
For the record, I literally drive forklifts every day through a warehouse and a truck.
And I wouldn't doubt it if...
So if we're going to talk who's in the bigger glass office and who's actually on like the side of driving forklifts, I think we do a swapsies.
I wouldn't be shocked if Marshawn and my brother might have shared, some recreational habits that are totally legal in the state of California.
I did a swapsies. One knew what the other one was into. The other one knew what the other one was into, and they got together and collaborated.
That's the way to go. So
well, that's a good story. And here's what happened to me the other night.
All right.
Yesterday, things have been slow. It's no secret. We've talked about that. We haven't been doing shows as consistently as we'd like to for a few different reasons, but one of them is probably we're not having a lot to talk about on what's selling because things have been slow. And so we'll try to get back into whatever habit we can get into. But I get this sell for one of my Elvis tickets, $500. Elvis tickets sold. So I'm jacked. I'm all jacked up. And the first thing you think is, well, the guy pays. So there we go. It was a random Thursday afternoon. Christmas time's coming up. The Elvis movie's been big. I'm up on tickets anyway. I got like 3 or 4 of these tickets, so I'm thinking $500. All right, there's a comp out there, and I'm feeling pretty good. Send some screenshots over to you and Painter. I didn't send to all the boys because I don't know. And I sent it to my wife, and she's like, all right, there's some Christmas money. So I get driving home, and I get a message from this fellow, and it's I'm not going to use his username, but he does have two feedbacks, so he's not brand new. But it says, please cancel this order. It was an accidental purchase. And usually I'll just whatever, but this one I was like, nah, man. Like, so I was like, I don't know. I probably responded not the most professionally, but I said, I don't understand how this could be an accident. It's been paid for, and I got it ready to ship, I'm like, got ready to ship, ready to go out to the mail. It's been purchased. Like, you don't just accidentally click on something, click add to cart, click purchase, click, pay, and go through that whole process. It's not, eBay's not the Amazon one button push where it's done. You have to make a few steps. And he goes, yeah, someone has my Google account and tried using my first card, but it didn't work. And then they used my second card and it went through. And I'm thinking, okay, so somebody hacked it. And okay, that makes sense. I'm like, that sucks. And I said, okay, sorry, that sucks. I'll cancel it, whatever. And then I get thinking, it was to his address. No one's ever hacked you, Adam. Stole your account to ship something to you, have they?
No, not that I
usually that goes the other way around. So unfortunately, that $500 purchase, I had to refund, and back to zero. But I still have the item. I still believe in tickets. They're very low pop, meaning there's not a whole lot of them that survived. Of those that survived, there's not a whole lot graded, and they are selling. A lot of people are getting into those Japanese movie tickets, like you've been getting into a little bit there, Adam. So I don't know. It's a fun thing. I just know there's not a whole lot of them around. Elvis obviously has always been popular. He's made more money since he's been dead than he ever did alive, and his legend kind of grows. That movie came out this year, and I'm thinking with the holidays and stuff, people are going to start watching it together as a family, that kind of thing again. And I'm not worried long term. I think Elvis is a good sell. I got some Woodstock tickets, some Nirvana tickets. Who else do I got? I got Elvis, Johnny Cash. I got some tickets, is what I'm saying. I get them graded. I got back a bunch of WrestleMania tickets the other day. So
I think you've got tickets in there. I think that's what that box is.
I have tickets in here. Tickets galore. Yeah. Tickets galore. So I don't know. I think especially as they get to where they're just doing these digital tickets like Adam was just talking about, they're harder to come across. People like something in hand. There's something about actually physically holding something that brings back nostalgia and memories. It's just kind of like give it to your dad, and it's that connection that you share or something like that. Where a digital picture or a digital ticket or whatever just doesn't have that same feeling.
It's funny because, we've kind of gone up and down the hill. Life is about up and downs. You have the group that they basically work themselves up. They do everything, and then their kids kind of they take things for granted, and then it falls down off the hill. It's kind of the same thing with items. Like my my grandmother, I'm sure grandparents, they grew up in the Depression, and grandma would still to this day fold up her grocery bags so she could reuse them. Same thing with tinfoil. They had to have those things, and then we came to this era where we got rid of a lot of stuff because everything, people hated mail. Like junk mail was bad, but email was like this amazing thing. To now it's the opposite. If somebody mails me a card, it's like, wow, I haven't seen this. I'm going to read this. My kids love getting the mail where, my inbox for my email, I have thousands and thousands of spam messages. So it's kind of like that same thing when you get a physical, something you can actually hold on to, it usually means more and might have some more sentimental value. So I think that's kind of the avenue and road we're going down to, and having those type of items, are they're long terms,
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's more of an investment or more of a collector piece. Which right now, we're not going to sit here and lie. The economy's not doing great. Inflation's up. People aren't buying collectibles nearly as much. You have to have some disposable income for that. And right now, it seems like people are kind of ratcheting down the belt. So a lot of the things I've went heavy into are long term. Hopefully, the next 10, 15 years, I'm hoping to sell everything. I think I will. I'm not worried about that. But if you're looking, I know a lot of people get into reselling, especially right now. Maybe they're getting laid off or hours cut at work or whatever, and they've heard about this magical reselling world, and they're going to get in here. You probably shouldn't just jump into like concert tickets and stuff unless you have the capital or the mindset of you're going to invest now and have it be a slow payoff. If you're looking for some fast returns, you probably want to go around your house and see items that maybe you got last Christmas that you haven't really used, things out in the garage, clothing items, that kind of thing. They're always faster flips. The profit margins on those generally aren't as big as, if you have a Mickey Mantle rookie card that you got at a yard sale back in the 60s for $5, which would have been a lot in the 60s. Now they're going for millions of dollars. That's pretty extreme. But even like Adam's World Cup cards, he bought a few years ago some soccer cards. I don't know if this was on this one or the one we had before that, or we mentioned that. But you got those World Cup cards, and you bought them for, $10 or below, bought several, did a little research on names, and you sent them in, got them graded. Now you're going to ask for a pretty good premium.
Yeah.
At least, $200-$300 a card minimum. A lot of the cards, Adam's the only one that has them graded. There's not a whole lot in the States because he was looking worldwide.
I've got a lot of Dutch cards. That was the hard thing because most of the time when I listed items, I would just find one similar or the exact same, and I'd go in and copy the listing and change it, and of course use my own pictures. But now the listings that I have now, I was doing some last Friday. They don't exist. Like the cards are literally one of a kind, and they're either in Dutch or Italian. So I'm having to kind of go niche down into different areas. So
you got to figure out what you got. But the World Cup's coming up here, and he's going to be the only guy holding them. And like you said earlier, again, I don't know if that was the recording that got deleted or not, or this recording, but if it doesn't sell, he's in the mindset of, hey, World Cup's going to be around for 4 more years. You know, it's going to come back around. Soccer is a growing sport, especially here in America, worldwide. It's one of, if not the biggest sport. So
it's not one of, it is the biggest sport.
Well, the Formula One's doing quite well, and the crickets, the rugbies.
Yeah, well, the soccer still is the numero.
The footy is the numero uno.
The footy
is it even close? Is the margin even close?
No, it's not close.
I got a story about soccer, so we talk a lot about kind of going back and forth about being a football man, not a soccer fan over the years, and stuff like that. I have a work pool that I've mentioned a lot where we bet on. We talk about what teams we think would win in American football. Hypothetically, each week we might have a list of teams and games and pick who we think might be the winners or the losers. And of that, I might have put anything that came my way into Bitcoin and Ethereum last year, which seemed really smart this year. Not so much. But yeah, anyway, guy that organizes this comes to me and says, I know you don't really care for soccer. That's not really your thing.
You mean he's like, hey, amigo, I know you don't like soccer.
No, this is not, that's not how he talks at all, Adam. He's, anyway. And I said, yeah, not really my thing. He goes, well, how would you think about if we were to do a bracket system? Right there, you already got me. Of the World Cup. And, we'll just go, the wait a round or two until it's like a little more manageable. We'll just do a bracket like you do with the
March
Madness. And you'll just pick your team. We'll do like $10 a bracket. And I said, I'll have to think about that. And thought for a minute. I thought, at this point in my life, I learned that I like to gamble more than I dislike soccer. Because I thought, well, that's a great idea. Because always during the March Madness and things, it's the
piqued your interest.
Well, it's the secretaries or the people that don't watch basketball that said, I just picked with the mascot, or I like this color that usually win. It's the big, everyone's like, oh, you don't have to know what you're doing because last year Jan in accounting won, and she's never watched a game in her life, but she liked the mascots or whatever. So I thought, I get to be Jan in accounting this year. I get to say, I like the color of that flag, or, boy, that's a cool team name, or whatever. And I'm just going to go, I have nothing to go by. So I'm looking to win this World Cup bracket here in, a month or two. So I'll take that money and I'll put it into, I can't put it in Bitcoin or Ethereum. I'll have to find some other thing that's going to look good and die.
FTX.
That's FTX. They just went out. So eventually I'll find somewhere to squander that money. But anyway, that was just my World Cup story.
It's trying something new. It's funny. I've gotten into, I don't like to write. I don't like to read.
Great accountant.
I like numbers. Obviously I have to do that, but my recreational time, anyways, I started, doing a day journal. So essentially I have a journal that goes for 5 years, and every single day it has a different question. It's like a 2-line, question. I've done a full year. I felt really good about it. And so now I'm like hitting the same questions that I've hit last year. And one of them was, have you tried anything new lately? And I thought about that. I'm like, you know what? Am I doing something that is expanding myself? Am I doing something that's out of my realm or my norm? Otherwise, life is Groundhog's Day. It's Bill Murray every single day. Unless you're trying something, learning something new, then you're really kind of wasting away. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. So you get into something like that. I'm proud of you, buddy. That's something you always, I don't know, might have frowned upon, but now you're like, I might take a little interest in that because, it's all about.
I like money. It's all about the gamble.
It's all about the right messaging. You know what I mean?
I don't think I'm going to sit down and watch the games unless they do it on the clock at work, and then I'm there. I'm cheering on Guatemala, Zimbabwe, whoever. Big fan.
You are a big fan.
I need to do this podcast more often, Adam. I just got another offer on a card now. Somebody wants to pay me $50 for this wrestling card, and I'm going to debate whether or not I'm going to do that because
D-Roy's almost a Hyundai spot, just sitting down today. He's getting paid this morning, people.
I don't know what the secret is there. It's been a little slow, so I'll come in here, and maybe they're feeling bad for me getting squandered on that Elvis ticket. I don't know, but the algorithm seems to be my favorite right now. I've also not talked a lot about it, but we're in Q4, as they call it. It used to be like the big
push.
The big push, Christmas, and all whatever holidays are coming up. I have a couple items that I've been after. I wasn't going to go after anything. I've started going after a couple items. I'm definitely not going to share them right now because I don't need the competition because I've actually found things that people are after.
Ooh.
And I've been selling pretty good amount, and a lot of them are going internationally because it's things that I can buy here in the States. Their kids want these items because they see them wherever kids see things, and they can't buy them where they're at, so they go to the eBay and they type it in, and old D-Roy's got them for a little bit of a premium.
Ooh, look at that! Look at that tease. D-Roy's throwing it down. He said, "We're gonna get better here. We're gonna. We've still been posting stuff for several weeks all the time, D-Roy. So we're gonna get back on it. We're gonna share that tease here. So keep listening to it, D-Roy. With that being said, there are two things in life that are for certain, my buddy, and that would be
Deathpiles and taxes."
We're well within our rights to use this song. We're aware that preaching copyright is wrong. With lots of dedication